author Jorge Sanchez with a new collection out, collection number 2, Sanchez 5 Inbound. Jorge, thanks for hopping on with me.
Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about collection 2 here, Sanchez 5 Inbound.
So, as with the previous collection, it's 4 short stories, mostly to do with my life growing up in the city and kind of connected to my life once we moved to the country. There might be one, there's a number 4, that's an unpublished story that might be relevant to your listeners. It's called Why CBGB Sucked. So it should be relatable to a lot of musicians out there who are trying to make it, who are trying to play the club circuit and play in the city or play wherever. So I think a lot of people, when they pick up the book and read that one, say, oh, yes, I know what that's like.
You know, I noticed the name of that story. In brief, can you tell us why CBGB sucked?
So hopefully nobody here was like a huge CBGBs fan. But by the time I was playing in the city and got to play CBGBs, and it kind of was past its prime. CBGBs was this legendary place to play. So many people played there. And when we got there, it was kind of a dive bar at that point. Mm-hmm. It probably has always been a dive bar, but it had this aura to it. But when we got there, the shine had clearly come off the place. So, because first of all, you had to call up and you had to book like a Tuesday night at like 8 o'clock, and you show up, you had 30 of your friends, and they would buy 2 drinks each, so they made money off the bar, they made money off the door, but CBGBs would not pay you a dime at that point.
Yeah.
And then if you did well, they moved you up to Wednesday, and then I think finally if you moved up to Thursday, they would pay you, I think, from the door. They wouldn't pay you from the bar. So you might get like $1 per person off the door. So even if you brought 50 people, that's only $50. So it's kind of a symbol for how, I don't know if it's like that now, and if it isn't, then great. But how, a lot of these places take advantage of musicians who are struggling, trying to get out there, trying to get in front of people. And how, even if you bring 100 people to a club, you still may only make $100.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it kind of symbolizes that circuit, which was unpleasant. Or it probably still is unpleasant.
Yeah, no doubt. And just kind of the dangers of like looking at the past with rose-colored glasses too much.
Yes, and I think people, CBGBs, they think, oh my God, the Police play there, Living Color play there, but it was a dive bar.
Yeah.
And I kind of wanted to remind people of the truth about it. And other places like CBGBs in the city back in the late 90s, 2000.
Yeah. So you grew up in the city, you were a musician. When did you start writing?
I only started writing about summer last year. I've always wanted to write, and it just felt overwhelming to like put together an actual book.
Yeah.
So I just decided I was to start writing the stories that I've been telling to people for many years, and that kind of opened up the floodgates. And so I wasn't planning to do any paperbacks. I was just happy to do Kindle e-readers or e-books. But my brother, who I think is still using AOL, said, I'm never going to use a Kindle, so I can't ever read your book. So that kind of was the impetus for me to put some of these stories into paperback.
Yeah, I still like a paperback. I acknowledge the usefulness of e-readers. My husband has one. It seems really cool, but there's something about holding a physical book that I really like.
I have to admit, that when I got those first copy of paperbacks, it made a world of difference in terms of like how it felt compared to just putting something up and having it on a Kindle version. It does make a big difference.
Yeah, you can honestly, you can see physically that you are an author, right?
Yes, it's a strange thing to kind of walk into a bookstore and see your little book on a table there. It's very, very fulfilling, surreal thing at the same time.
Yeah, and I mean, it must have been a good feeling since you've done it twice now.
Yes, I mean, I can't stop the stories from coming, so I have to keep writing them. So there'll be more collections, coming out soon. I'm working on some of the stories at this point, but yeah, I just feel like people read them, can relate to them, kind of get into them, and probably for the first time, I thank WKZE in the beginning of the book. I don't think many authors thank a radio station.
I don't think so. I noticed that, and thank you. Yeah. Yeah, that's very cool. And Oblong Books, too, which, of course, we love. Is the book available at Oblong?
Not the first collection, not the second collection, so maybe your listeners can go bang down the door of Oblong. I'm joking, Oblong's been really good to me, but I'm sure if you walk into Oblong and ask for this second collection, they'll get it for you at that, but it's not in there at this point. So.
Gotcha. And where can we find it online?
You can find it online on Amazon. Just look up Sanchez 5 Inbound. There's a lot of Sanchez authors out there. So, but that title brings you right to either me directly to office page or to the other stuff I've written. So
very cool. Jorge Sanchez with the new collection Sanchez 5 Inbound. It's wonderful. I've read a few excerpts, and yeah, I really like your writing. It's just just straight from the heart.
Yeah, I kind of think of it like this. I'm talking to somebody at a bar, and we're having a drink, and I'm telling the story kind of thing. So that's how I like to write.
Yeah, I think that's a great approach. Well, thank you so much for hopping on with me today.
No, thank you. And just to remind folks, next week, the 22nd, I'm doing a wine tasting / book signing at Cascade Spirit and Wine. So booze and books, I don't think that can be a better combination than that. So from 3 to 6. So if you're in the area, definitely stop by. We'd love to chat with you and sign some books. So, and have some great wine tasting. She always has some great wines at the shop. So
that is an outstanding combination. Thank you, Jorge. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Thank you. You too.